speaker, Maura Neill.
You're sick of me, aren't you? I'm sick of me. So I want to talk to you for a minute about four-letter words. Specifically, one four-letter word. And it makes sense that Paula had asked me to do a session on communication earlier because we've been thinking a lot this year. It's been part of our business plan and our marketing plan to focus more on storytelling. So we've been telling the stories of our listings rather than just doing 3-bedroom, 2-bath, basement, hey, it has a roof and 4 walls. We've been telling stories more. I've written a class on storytelling for marketing. We've been telling our clients stories. We've been focusing more on getting testimonials as stories. And it's become a lot clearer to me now that the stories that we tell every day and the way that we communicate our story can either accelerate or limit our opportunities. Because the way that we communicate becomes the definition of who we are. And there's one 4-letter word that I want to encourage you to remove from your vocabulary, and that's busy. When someone asks you, how are you doing? And you say, oh, I'm so busy. We let others make our busyness their business. Think about that for a minute. We let others make our busyness their business. And when we do that through the way that we communicate what we have going on in our lives, we allow them the opportunity to interpret what busy means to us. So when a client says to you, how are you doing? And you say, oh, I'm so busy. And then a couple months down the road, you run into them in the grocery store and you say, how are you doing? And they say, oh, I'm great. I just sold my house. I was going to call you, but I know how busy you've been. That only has to happen to you, and you giggle, but that only has to happen to you one time. That happened to me last year. I had a past client that I ran into, and she said, she didn't ask me how I was. I didn't say I'm busy. She said, I see everything that you're doing on social media. It is so great that you're traveling and you're speaking now. You are so busy. And I said, yeah, it's great. I am busy. We were interpreting busy in a very different way. Don't let being busy limit your opportunities. Instead, redefine that, reframe that. Don't use the word busy. Use the word abundance. Things are so abundant for me right now. I have so many opportunities right now. Give it that positive spin. Because in leadership, the word busy can also limit you. And I want to caution you about using that word busy or letting the perception of your busyness limit your opportunities as a leader. Last year, I was interviewing for a position with my state association, and I was sitting in the interview room with the nominating committee, and I was asked a question it took me a minute to come up with my answer. And the question was, we're looking at your resume, we're looking at all of the volunteer activities that you do. How do we know that you're not too busy for the role that you're interviewing for? And I had to think about that for a minute because my gut reaction was, well, don't you want someone who's involved at the state level and the national level and the local level? Don't you want someone who's interested in volunteering? And so I had to reframe that question for them. I said, I want you to feel confident that I wouldn't interview for a role that I didn't feel that I had complete confidence in my capacity to serve in that role. So when you are talking about your travel and your opportunities in the real estate business and your opportunities in leadership, don't let your interpretation of busy be misconstrued or misinterpreted by others that you're communicating with. Instead, make sure that you are taking control of your story and you're framing your opportunities and your abundance in a way that has a positive outcome for you. Thank you.